Baku-Khankendi moving ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Live again from Azerbaijan. This is stage number 3. We're halfway into this 5-day stage race with finish today in the town of Mingashevir, and we start in Kabala. But this is what happened yesterday. It was a rather chaotic stage. We go back to stage number 1, which actually was a quite straightforward stage with a breakaway up the road and a sprint in the streets of Sumqayit. A sprint eventually won by the man of leaning star, Alexei Shnirko. Then stage 2, which was chaotic. After many echelons, we ended up with the first group of 35 riders, and just before the first category climb, it was Alex Balmer on the attack, and he managed to stay away on his own for 40 kilometers and then was joined by Fedorov, who misjudged the final kilometer, thinking that he had to go into the deviation, made his way back to Balmer and won the stage, is now also our new race leader. Balmer on the podium, and also Eric Fagundes, the Uruguayan rider of Burgos Burpela. This is now the result of yesterday's stage. The second group only 9 seconds behind them. And then we have a new GC leader, a new man in the blue leader's jersey.
Okay, so it's our plan today, control the race, try to take the jersey if it's possible. And okay, the race is also start with a little bit nervous with the windy, and then we're going breakaway with the Sochi guys and going end of the line. And then okay, he said I need to try for could we win the stage, and then he try and then come back to catch the guy in the front, and it's nice to win.
As the interview was translated by a man you probably recognize, Alexander Vinokurov, the London Olympic champion. This is now the general classification. Fedorov has got 4 seconds on Balmer, Mulavaran, Fagundes, Gates, Aznar, Kovili, Umba, Callum Johnston in 9th place, and Josh Burnett currently in 10th place. He's got 2 jerseys, Fedorov also a leader in the points jersey. That is worn, that green jersey, by Alexei Shnirko, who celebrates his birthday today. So happy birthday to Alexei. This is Leonard Teugels, the new king of the mountains. Mathematically, he cannot lose that jersey today. He's got 7 points on Alex Balmer, and we only had a second category climb today, which we already passed. So that is secure for Leonard Teugels. And this man was actually the only under-23 rider in that first group of 35, Iker Gomez of Equipo Kernpharma. All 6 of Equipo Kernpharma riders in that first group, so great day for them. Sadly for them, no win, but they have got some riders up there in GC. Today we have stage number 3, and we start in Gabala, which is a rather beautiful place and a very old place as well. We are on the foothills of the Greater Caucasus Mountains right now, one of the oldest settlements in the country, and it was the capital of the ancient empire of Caucasian Albania. Has nothing to do with the modern country of Albania. We're talking about 2,500 years ago. Now it's primarily a tourist destination known for, as you can see, stunning nature. You can go skiing there, summer sports as well, as the temperatures rise to over 40 degrees Celsius in summer. Today, only about 16 to 18 degrees Celsius for the riders. So nice weather for a bike ride. We start in Gabala, then we make our way to the west, and then after the second category climb, we go south to Mingashevir, which is on an artificial lake, due to some hydropower plants that they built there not so long ago to get more renewable energy in a country that, of course, gained its wealth in oil and natural gas reserves. But this is our finish. We've got 1 corner, 1 kilometer to go, and then a straight line, a very wide road. No cobbles today, and no deviations for Evgeny Fedorov to get infused by. Start was given at 9:20 local time, meaning that it was another early day for the riders, early breakfast, making sure that we can bring you this race just before the Giro starts today. Unofficial start there with the man from Bosnia and Herzegovina, the national champion. It's not a jersey that we see all the time there on the bottom of your screen. His name, Fidat Karic. We've got 126 riders left in the race. 13 riders abandoned, the majority, of course, yesterday with the windswept echelon stage. Last rider crossing the finish line yesterday was 30 minutes down, but that was still well within the time limit. So everybody okay as we make our way to Mingashivir, a stage of 162.9 kilometers in total. And this is where we are. It was another fast stage, and we're almost at the intermediate sprint with the live images as they come up shortly. The jerseys, Fedorov is leader in the points and general classification, wears the blue one, Alexis Schnierko in green, Lennart Teugels in red, and Iker Gomez in the white jersey for best young rider. Those are our leaders. Differences in GC are still rather small, but judging from the stages that we had here, those are still to come. Tomorrow is one of the flattest, and yeah, Thursday is going to be more exciting. It will be a game of seconds, the bonus seconds on the intermediate sprints, and of course the bonus seconds on the line as well. We're looking for the peloton as we are roughly at the intermediate sprint, which is at 37 kilometers from the line.
Okay, he said, I need to try for could we win the stage, and then he try and then come back to catch the guy in the front, and it's nice to win.
And here we are live with our breakaway, and only 35 kilometers left to go in this stage of 162.9 kilometers, as we have some traditional music for you to enjoy as well. There we go, race sounds at the ready. Good morning again. My name is José Ben. With me is Michael Hutchinson. Michael, less than 35 kilometers to go. That means that this has been a fast stage again.
Well, firstly, good morning, Jose. Good morning. It's kind of all downhill. We've kind of started at 700 meters and we're finishing at practically, well, not quite sea level, but very nearly. So that helps. I'm guessing
most certainly does.
They've had a little bit of a tailwind as well. And I think perhaps after yesterday, a lot of nerves, I imagine, in the group yesterday, just after the chaos of the first few kilometers of that stage. So I think all of that combines to intermediate sprint.
That was the shortest
Snuck up
intro to a sprint I have ever seen. But it was like they realized all of a sudden there was one. This is actually the Mongolian national champion, and I will do my best to pronounce his name, Teshbayar Batsaikan. He picked up the bonus seconds and the points at the intermediate sprint ahead of Brian Sanchez, Muradjan Kalmuratov, and the last man in our breakaway of 4 is Nicolas Sessler, the Colombian rider. We did have a breakaway that started around 35 kilometers into the stage, so it was quite a fight to get in the break. That was a break with Juan Pedro Lozano, Eduardo Perez Landaluce, Maral Batmunk, Javier Garnek, Mustafa Tekin, and Owen Musset. They got a little bit of a gap, but they were caught already at 70 kilometers from the line. And then there was this attack of the 4 riders we have at the front now, with Sessler, Baitsakan, Kalmuratov, and Sanchez. Laurijse and Adajak, the Polish rider, managed to, tried to bridge across, never really made it. And this is another attempt to get to the front by 2 riders. Let's see, number 31 is Fagundes, of course, the man who was 3rd yesterday, and number 64, the man who was in the original breakaway, Juan Pedro Lozano. Nice straight roads, Michael. We could already see the man in the green jersey. He celebrates his birthday today, the winner of stage 1. And yeah, with that sprint that we saw on stage 1, he should also be one of the bigger favorites for today.
Yeah, you'd say that. You're never quite sure someone who wins one sprint like that. Yes, clearly they can sprint, but they might just have been lucky with their positioning. I think not. The team managed him fairly well into the last kilometre, so yeah, you'd have him down. You'd have yesterday's winner of Evgeny Fedorov down for the sprint, and possibly his teammate had a Henok Mulabram, maybe. Yeah, there are quite a few kind of decent sprinters in the field, and riders that we don't, as a commentary team, see all that often.
And
So
jerseys we don't see all that often, like this selection at the front.
Yeah, you do occasionally get a surprise. 223, Brian Sanchez is a teammate of Oscar Sevilla, who is back in the peloton, we assume, who is 49 years old. Won a stage of the Tour of Romandie last century. How brilliant is that?
Yes, career started in 1998. That is absolutely brilliant. We have, well, the majority of the current professional peloton who were not even professional riders in 1998. Yeah. So, but this man actually is the second oldest in our peloton, the man from Uzbekistan, who is 43 years young.
How often do you get to be a 43-year-old bike rider in a race and be not the oldest by 6 years? Sorry, I keep going on about it. It amuses me. And I retired late myself, so there was a long period where I was the oldest bike rider in bike races, so I'm allowed.
And then, of course, commentators and announcers on site would not stop mentioning that, Michael. So maybe we should stop about Oscar Sevilla's age, otherwise he'll send us a message that he's quite fed up with it.
It's my turn now.
It's time for payback. Here we have the entire team of XDS Astana with Gleb Syriza, of course, one of the favorites for the sprint, the bulky Russian rider who has got a strong kick as well. We have Aaron Gate as a lead-out rider, the man with the mullet, and the two young, well, they're not young, they're on the development team, but they're not young, the new two Kazakh riders at the front doing the work. Din Mukametov and Zumarkan, if I try to do a not really successful attempt at pronouncing those names. We should ask Vinokurov for some name instructions there, Michael. He's on site, which I find really interesting because his team is actually leading the Giro d'Italia and he's here in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, that's a little eccentric. I mean, I suppose the Giro goes on for 3 weeks. So
yeah, but not with Thomas Silva in the break in the jersey.
You should display more confidence. No, but I guess this was the plan, and he's sticking to it.
We've got more attacks happening right now with a team, and I'll just get my overview of jerseys somewhere to think that this might be the team from Portugal, Obidos.
I think it's Obidos.
Yeah, judging from the colour scheme that we see. They had one rider in the original breakaway in Landaluce, but yeah, they are just going to try again with José Manuel Gutiérrez at the front. And this is how we keep the pace up, Michael.
I'm sure XCS Astana will be delighted to have a little bit of help.
I find it funny that they both have two different bikes. So probably not a team-issued bike here.
Small teams. Sometimes it just works that way. Sometimes manufacturers give different models or different colorways of bike to different riders in the group. Occasionally, riders bring their own bike.
Bring your bike to work day.
Yeah, exactly.
The one rider down, the Portuguese team, Obidos, with Lorenzo Marenzi, the man from Croatia. And yeah, this was a short-lived attempt. But of course, our four leaders still up the road. They won't get much room as we're looking for the man in the green jersey there on the right-hand side of the road. Of course, with the red bib shorts, the Leaning Star team, who were well represented also in that first group yesterday. They're really doing well against the World Tour and the Pro Continental teams, the Leaning Star team. So it's good to have a Chinese team really making their mark, because we have had talks about having a professional Chinese team for quite some time. There's a lot of potential, of course, in the country, but a professional Chinese team, it's not been happening just yet. There were talks, of course, many years ago, but I think if a team manages to do it, I think that Leaning Star most definitely have the quality. And with Callum Johnston, the Scottish rider who's 9th on GC, and of course a man with a good climbing ability, well, why not go for a very good result on GC?
It's quite a multinational team, and they've got 11 different nationalities on their roster, so it's a Chinese
there's not a
team,
Chinese rider in this team, no.
No, but it's just they have several Chinese riders in the roster, but not here. But they're at 18. They're at 18 wins for the year, so that must make them one of the, oh, forgive me for this, winningest teams in the in the world at the minute. Clearly riding mainly on the the Asian tour. So, so we don't see an awful lot of them in Europe.
I really like that we get to see a little bit more of the Asian tour, of course, later this year with Langkawi and Malaysia. Hainan was live for you to see. We had the Pune Grand Tour, the first race in India. They have grand ambitions to grow further in India. Also, of course, a country with giant potential when it comes to bike riding. But we go back to our first group. I really fancy this Mongolian national jersey. It's a very stylish outfit here. And this man was actually in that first group originally of 35 riders. So a good ride by him yesterday. He got dropped in the end, but still up there in GC, our Mongolian champion, Baku-Khankendi.
Yeah, there's a big group on 9 minutes, and he's in there. But they pulled out quite a fast advantage. I was surprised when this group got over a minute at this late stage of the race. I don't think XCS Astana are going to struggle to bring them back if that's what they want to do. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised that we got quite such a comprehensive break established as a second break, because they only went a few, really, 15 or 20 minutes before we came on air.
And sometimes in these kind of races, Michael, they underestimate the breakaway, because the sports directors, the riders, might also not be all too familiar with many of these riders that we have here. So sometimes surprises do happen, and yeah, I like those.
Well, and the other thing is sometimes a break in a race like this hits it really hard. If you've been watching the Giro over the weekend, the breaks there would sort of slide out the front, tap along 300 watts and gradually build an advantage. You could get a break here that attack much harder, much earlier, and just essentially ride faster.
Yeah, everybody, I think a lot of viewers actually like a breakaway win because it's unexpected, and rallying for the underdog is a very well-known thing in sports supporting. So people always love an underdog win, but yeah, 25.8 kilometers to go, minute 17 for these riders on these very wide roads. If we look at today's finish, Michael, do we have any obstacles that we should take into account, or is it pretty straightforward?
There's not a lot. It's pretty flat. The last kilometre is pretty much dead straight. The only real obstacle is there is a left turn right under the kilometre to go banner. There's a 90-degree left turn. Reasonably wide road though, so should be okay. Positioning matters a bit just coming into that, because it's going to be it's a sharp enough turn that there's going to be a slowdown and an acceleration. So you wouldn't want to get caught too far back if you're going to go for the sprint. But otherwise, certainly, I mean, I'm really basing it off the road book because I can't find any street view images of it. But off the road book and off the video that I saw earlier today, it looks reasonably straightforward.
And no unexpected deviations for Evgeny Fedorov to get confused by. That was a funny thing yesterday.
There were one somewhere, yeah. No, he kind of hesitated, and as soon as I thought, I knew exactly what he'd done, because there was there's a kind of a timing issue if you're marshalling the deviation for the team cars, because you don't want to catch too much the eye of the riders as they come through, so you sort of need to time it. And the marshal doing that yesterday, I noticed him immediately as well, and I think that's just what happened to Evgeny Fedorov. He was lucky. Andre Balmer ran a bit wide on the final corner, because it just gave Evgeny Fedorov the chance to nip up the inside.
Do you think that he lost some sleep over that corner? Because it is in that last corner that he lost the win. Balmer did.
If I were him, I think I would have, because that would have been his first pro win. And I think he would have hung on. The one comfort he might have, he might be able to persuade himself that Evgeny Fedorov was going to come back through and pass him, whatever, because it was going to be close. But Fedorov did gain a good 3 or 4 bike lengths just on the corner. So I wouldn't be happy with myself.
That was a lot of noise. I duly respect any school teacher, because yeah, having to control a school class like that, yeah, who might not, because the last edition of this race was in 2017. This might be the first professional bike race they ever saw in their lives.
Good chance. There's a tour of Bulgaria, which has been this way.
Really?
In
That
Bulgaria,
far?
not Bulgaria. I'm thinking back to the Giro tour of. There have been other Azerbaijan tours.
Yeah, province in Iran, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, this is what happens when you kind of cover, because I'm back on the Giro next week. It's what happens when you cover 2 races at once. I'm kind of going, where's Jonas Vingegaard? He should be in the front group.
Where's the pink jersey? We're all confused now. No, this is the Baku-Khankendi Azerbaijan cycling race.
Thank you, I'll write that down.
Yeah, it's a very long name. I have to look at my start sheet all the time. But Baku is basically where we started, and Khankendi is where we finish on Thursday. And Thursday will be a key stage for Alex Balmer, because he can still get his payback. Because if you look at the last stage, which brings us to Khankendi, we've got 2 climbs in the final 20 kilometers. Well, the climb is a little bit longer, but they are pretty steep climbs. The last one is actually 7% average, and it's at 15 kilometers from the line. And then the final kilometers of Thursday's stage, the final 3 are also at 5%. So Alex Balmer still has a shot with a bonus seconds. He's only 4 seconds behind Fedorov at the moment. He still has a shot to win this bike race overall. So that would be a nice little revenge for missing out on the stage win yesterday. Yeah. On the other hand, Michael, if it was a direct sprint from with him and Fedorov, he would have lost in 99 out of 100 occasions. So he just got a second. He got a second chance with Fedorov almost going into the team car deviations. But yeah, it would be nice for him if he gets a shot on Thursday.
Yeah, and it's probably a bit of a confidence boost that he did get up the road yesterday. I mean, to be fair, you say the other mistake he made yesterday was he really was going, I think, for the mountain points. Got the mountain points, and then he sort of sat up, and then he went again. And maybe if he hadn't sat up, maybe if he just kept on the pedals the whole way, Evgeny Fedorov might never have caught him in the first place. Anyway, that's for him to lose sleep over, not us.
Water under the bridge right now. Ooh, there's a nice little chicane. Luckily, this is not the final. I'm a little bit puzzled what the guys at the front are actually doing. But like you said, I think XDS Astana is pretty grateful for the help they get.
I think they're trying to get a contract with XDS Astana myself.
Nice.
Because even I'm not aware of any great sprinting talent in the team. I'm very happy to be proven wrong, and probably will be. But I still don't understand why you wouldn't let XDS Astana do this, because XDS Astana are clearly perfectly happy to do it.
This is the Church of Kish, one of the oldest Christian monuments in the Caucasus. According to local tradition, the church was actually founded in the 1st century AD, and it later became a very important center of the Caucasian Albanian Christianity. It was restored, as you can see, with international support, and now a major cultural landmark in the country. XDS Astana with Aaron Gates, with Fedorov in that blue jersey. Henok Mulaberan, of course, very important rider. And Gleb Syriza, the man with number 4, who I think is going to be their main rider for the sprint. We're also looking at our birthday boy, 32 years young, Alexei Schnirko, thank you. Who did a pretty powerful sprint. A little bit further back we find Tartaletto Isorex with Timothy Dupont, who was also on that podium on day 1. And I think we have to look at day 1 mostly, Michael, because that was a flat sprint, and the riders in that top 10 on the opening day are most likely the riders we find in the top 10, with Fedorov being 10th. But like I said, I think they will play the Syriza card with Astana.
Yeah, I think... And Leaning Star actually well up there as well. They're taking a lot of confidence from stage 1. Does then make me wonder, does that mean they're possibly going to hit the front a little bit too soon this time around? That's always a risk when you've had kind of the confidence boost of getting your sprinter the win on the first sprint stage. At the second sprint stage, you really kind of get the bit between your teeth. Say, right, today is our day. and you get there a little bit soon in the final. But we'll see. I think they did a great job on first stage, so I shouldn't be doubting them on this stage until I've got a bit more evidence.
And for now, 20 kilometers from the line, these 4 riders are still gaining time on the peloton, so that is a pretty impressive. Our oldest man in this group, the 43-year-old, he will be 44 on the 11th of June, is Kalmuratov. He has no less than 11 national Uzbeki time trial championships. Michael, he should be your spirit animal there.
Absolutely, yeah. I managed to win 6, but it ain't 11.
Amateur.
Well, actually, and to be fair, I won my 6 across 2 different countries because I changed my racing nationality, so I don't think that actually really counts.
No, but 6 national titles, I find it very impressive still. But yeah, this man has been racing almost 2 decades right now, the man in our breakaway. But I rank our Mongolian national champion, the most powerful rider in that first group, and they have to time it well, because we saw in that 3rd stage of the Giro d'Italia that they left it rather late with our 3 leaders there in Sofia.
Yeah, I mean, minute 23 is on. If they've still got a minute 23 with 10 kilometres to go, I think we can all get a bit more excited. But I think this is under control. I'm a wee bit a little bit surprised, and I'm sure XCS Astana are a little bit surprised to find somebody giving them a hand.
Are they still there? Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Which of course means XDS have a bit more gas for the last 14, 15 kilometres when we get there.
Back to our breakaway, where we find the lovely Nicolas Sessler, a man from Brazil, who's raced professionally with the Burgos Beache team. That was in the years 2018, 19 and 20. Raced with Global 6 for a few years, and now this is his 3rd year on this Victoria Sports Pro Cycling team, a team with its license in the Philippines. And despite that, they also raced in the Netherlands, which I find really funny. And they will be back next week, basically flying from Azerbaijan to the Netherlands to race the Omloop de Kempen. So, yeah, we know that these kind of teams have a really international program. But, yeah, having them fly all over the world, from Spain to the Netherlands to Azerbaijan and all the way back to the Netherlands again.
The life of a pro bike racer. No, I've got friends that raced on the Asian circuit, on the Asian tour. And they spent a lot of their time in airports because, as you say, they raced all over the world. But even the Asian tour is a lot more spread out than the Europe tour, because in Europe
Asia's quite big.
Yeah, it's quite big, and there aren't as many races as there are in Europe, which is smaller. If you lived in the Netherlands or northern France or Belgium or certain bits of Spain and Italy, you could do an entire season without having ever travelled more than an hour or 2 from home. I just simply, there's nowhere in the middle of the Asian tour you can live where you could possibly achieve that.
No, we've got races in Thailand, in China, in Indonesia, Japan, and of course here. Well, this might actually officially be Europe.
This is Europe tour.
This is officially Europe. Yeah, we have to go a little bit further east too, but we've got races all over the place. And that makes it really interesting. It's a circuit, of course, that we don't see that much. We see the results on websites like Pro Cycling Stats, and it gives us a little bit of insight. The circuit has become more interesting, or more desirable for European teams in the hunt for UCI points.
UCI points is exactly what I was going to say, sorry.
Yeah, if you win the Tour of Hainan, you get the same number of points as you win the Tour of Slovenia or the Tour of Belgium. Yeah, where there probably are 10 or 11 World Tour teams, while in the Tour of Hainan there might be 4.
Yeah, man, I think there were 1 or 2 World Tour teams out at the Tour of Hainan this year, scooping up points. Was it Lotto, I think, got quite a lot of points out there?
Yeah, they won stages there as well. The winner, the overall winner, was actually Thomas Silva, who's now in the pink jersey.
It's interesting that some of the teams this year are already talking about UCI ranking points. This is only the first year of the 3-year block of ranking points. But teams like Lotto Intermarché, half of that team's an amalgamation of Intermarché, Wanty and Lotto, but half of that team got caught out quite badly by the relegation issue last year, and they're already talking about trying to gather up points. I think I heard one of the managers at Picnic Post also talk about the fact that they don't have a lot of points yet, and they feel that they're not usually a spring team, so they're not too worried, but worried enough to be talking about it.
Yeah, the situation at Picnic Postenel is quite dire. They need at least an Oscar Onley style performance in one of the Grand Tours to get back to that top 18. Luckily, it's a rolling ranking, but yeah, the license of Picnic Postenel is only a year for now. So, well, that is a whole different discussion. They're not here. We are at 15 kilometers from the line, and we have work done by Obidos cycling team, a team from Portugal. We don't know why. If you do, please let us know. If I look at the sprint results of this team, I wonder what they're doing. They might just want to show us their lovely jersey and their wide array of bike brands that they're also using. But for now, we have our breakaway of four who have 1:30 on the peloton. It's not becoming any smaller, and that is the moment that Peter Bouwens, the sports director here of Tartaletto Isorex, told the guys, okay, enough, we need to close that gap, otherwise Timothy Dupont will not even get to sprint.
I was wondering if that was a little bit of brinkmanship from XDS deciding they were going to let the Portuguese team sit on the front until somebody else came and helped them, because the gap, as you say, has been drifting out, if anything, at a point where you would really expect it to be going the other way. And it's just beginning to feel like we're a little bit finely balanced on whether they're going to catch them or not. I think given that it's not the strongest group of riders I've ever seen in the break, probably they are going to get caught. But at the minute, I'm not, you wouldn't take it as an absolute given, let's put it that way.
No, you said if they have 1:20 at 10k to go, I will give them a shot. And, well, we're not far out. So the entire Tartaletto Isorex team is gradually moving up. The same goes for leaning star. There we have Lennart Teugels, our king of the mountains, who's going to the front to lend a hand as well. Teugels, didn't get involved into our mountain sprint. It was a second category sprint today. The points were taken by Mustafa Tikin, 5 points. He had 0, so that takes him to 5, with Lennart Teugels having 17. Tomorrow we also only have 8 points available. If Lennart Teugels wants to bring home that mountain classification jersey, he will have to do well on stage 5. That is going to be crunch time for him. Or maybe just pick up the points tomorrow and sit out stage 5, because those points are all in the pointy end of the bike race. The names of our breakaway: the Mongolian national champion, Tejbagar Batsagan. Nicolas Sester is the man in the greenish-white jersey at the back here. Then we have our Uzbekistan rider, Kalmuratov. And the man at the front in the greyish ensemble of Medellin is Brian Sanchez. Best ranked rider up front is the Mongolian champion at 9:19.
I couldn't quite see there because the moto cameraman was sticking his camera under his arm. It looked like they were taking the cars out from the gap.
Then that would mean it's not a minute.
Yeah,
that would mean it's not a 1:21.
If it's, I'm going to say, either it's not a minute or a 1:21, or if it is a 1:21, it's not exactly a vote of confidence in the break, is it? Certainly the pace is on in this group. You can see just by looking at them.
Well, it hasn't been a super hard stage for most of these riders, but if you fancy a little bit of spa time, this is actually the place to go, apparently. We are at the foothills of the Greater Caucasus Mountains, and well, if it's not as foggy or as cloudy as we have on this clip here, you might actually see those mountains in the distance with the snow-capped. Yeah, you've got hotels here, and your wellness and recreational, and it's apparently quite a popular destination, Michael. Quite close to the city of Sheki. It was a recorded images because that city is actually 60 kilometers behind us already, because it was where we had our mountain sprint.
Oh, right, okay. I thought I recognised the name from somewhere. Yeah, the town we are heading for is noted mainly for its hydroelectric dam. It has the largest hydroelectric dam in the Caucasus, which has created a reservoir 70 kilometres long.
70?
70, yes.
Wow.
Big reservoir, generates huge amount of electricity. And that is what the town is. It's kind of it's an industrial town that mainly grew apparently during the Soviet era. Having said that, that makes it sound a little bit grim, and having said that, it actually looks rather nice. They've got sort of boulevards along the reservoir and things like that. Maybe we'll see a bit of it when we get there.
Well, that will be another 11 kilometers before we make it to Mingashevir, which is the fourth city of town, about 250,000 inhabitants. And so far, the crowds here at the finish line have been numerous. It's been quite a popular event. They brought it back since 2017, of course, with help of the government, and also because Baku is the capital of sport for this year. So they thought that was a good moment to bring back this race that first was held in 2012. So as a world capital of sport, which Baku is, it means that you are recognized for your commitment to sports infrastructure, healthy lifestyle, and your ability to host international events in sports, not the Eurovision Song Contest.
The City Ali Unlocked sports team have come to join the fun. Which are the blue jerseys. When we get back to the group, you'll see them just tucked in positions kind of 3-4, somewhere like that. So a lot of the smaller teams coming up to the front to join the chase, which is actually quite cool to see. I'm a little bit puzzled by some of the tactics, but it's nice to see. I suppose you get to a race like this, do you want to sit in the bunch all day and do nothing? No, you probably want to show yourself. Try and make a little bit of an impression, and I think there's a certain amount of that's what's going on at the minute.
This is what happens when you swing off the front, Michael, and you almost miss slotting into the back of this group. That is what happened to the Mongolian champion, and if you are at a few meters, that could be a rather dire situation. But luckily for him, he set it straight here, racing on the Windspace brand, which is a brand that's really making waves at the moment in the pro peloton, sponsoring some pro teams already at the women's side of sports. But we are inside the final 10 kilometers right now, and the gap is around the minute mark, and that means that Tartaletto Isorex are now fully committed to bring this group back. I do think we need some teams to help out at the front, not necessarily our Portuguese Obidos team, but I'm thinking about XTS Astana, and most notably Leaning Star to lend a hand, because with 9 kilometers and a minute still to go, they might leave it a little bit late.
I think they've just about got it under control, but they're taking a bit of a chance. I think that gap is right. We were speculating when we saw the cars coming out that maybe it was less, but the long shot, I can't spot the difference between sort of 60 seconds and 50 seconds from the long shot, but that's clearly it's about right. And I think it's just about under control, but I'm not sure that I would be taking a chance on it.
The Sidi Ali team is the smallest team in the race, only 4 riders. Team from Algeria, if I'm correct. And one of the notable riders who did not make it to the finish line yesterday was the 2012 Azerbaijan Tour race winner, Youssef Regigi. So no longer in the race, the man from Algeria. Smile to the camera, Niklas. We have Brian Sanchez, Kalmutarov, and in last position, the national champion of Mongolia, Baitshakan.
And that gap is coming down quite quickly. That's
Yeah.
not an enormous distance on the road anymore. All the same, just 8 kilometers to go. I think I said the same thing yesterday. It feels further just because of the sort of the geography. Because we know we're finishing in the city, but we're still right out in the countryside here. Yesterday, the finish came to me almost as a little bit of a surprise, just because of what I was looking at on the screen.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're losing time really, really fast now,
Yeah.
Michael. You were right. They timed it well. The peloton does. Just a reminder that the final corner today is at a kilometre from the line at the Flamme Rouge, and then we have a straight line. No wind today, no head nor tailwind, and also rather obscured by trees and buildings. So nothing to take into account when you start your sprint. I said it was 250,000 inhabitants. It's a lot less, actually. It's about 106. And they call it officially the City of Lights, Michael, because of that hydroelectricity power plant that could light up at least 4 of these cities.
Yes, they had an exciting. It opened in 1953, and they recommissioned it with a new set of turbine blades in 2000.
That is always so funny, because that is the kind of vocabulary that I do not have in English to explain the workings of a hydroelectricity plant. I'll leave that to you.
I should have started earlier. I've got loads of stuff on hydroelectricity.
Oh, what a failed opportunity. We could have learned so much more, but we are approaching the 6 kilometre to go mark. So we'll just stick to the bike racing. Otherwise, we get complaints again that we're going on tangents and off the road and going all sorts of directions. Luckily, we don't have anything to say about the Peace of Westphalia in this part of the world, so we can leave that aside and use that for another day. 6 kilometres to go, 26 seconds only for our breakaway of 4. And that means that we are going to prepare for a bunch kick yet again, just like we did on the opening stage. No dodgy cobbles, as far as I know. Just a straight line all the way to the finish from the Flamme Rouge. So it's now all about your sprint train. I rate the XDS Astana sprint train the highest, with Aaron Gate as their last man. But Leaning Star, they were impressive. But it was mainly because of the sheer power of Alexei Shnirko that they won. And Timothy Dupont, of course, he was on the podium on day 1. Also a rider to take into account. And these roads, Michael, are so wide that you could have 24 sprint trains side by side.
Yeah, you could have. We had that in the one point in the first stage of the Giro. We had a 6-lane highway, and we had a peloton that was sort of 3 riders deep and 60 riders wide.
Yeah, and then they decided for some
a little bit
reason
more
to
organised.
Yeah, and then for some reason the course narrowed into a 1 lane and everybody crashed. But that is a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
5 kilometres to go, stage 3 of the Baku-Khankendi Azerbaijan cycling race. What happened today? It took 35 kilometres to establish a breakaway of 6 riders. That was caught at 71 kilometres from the line, and then these 4 riders attacked with Mongolian champion Bike Sagan, Brazilian rider Nicolas Sessler, the man from Uzbekistan Murajan Kalmuratov, and Colombian rider Brian Sanchez. They had 1 minute and 30 max, and they are now almost caught by the peloton as we prepare for a bunch kick in this stage of 162.9 kilometers. We have Fedorov in the blue leader's jersey, and very important, Shnirko, the winner of the opening stage, which was a sprint, in the green jersey. So don't look for him in that red jersey of Leaning Star. Other riders to look out for, of course, are XDS Astana's Gleb Syriza, who was second on the opening stage. Timothy Dupont is a rider to look out for. Marco Manenti for Bardiani. Erik Fakundes, who was third yesterday in that stage. Tilen Pfingst of Solution Tech, Nippo Rally are some of the riders to look out for, as our Mongolian champion tries one more time to stay away. Really driving this break now, Michael.
They're not going down without a fight, certainly. I don't think it's going to work for them at 15 seconds and nearly 4 kilometres to go. But all credit to them. It's a very kind of classic arrowhead shape to the peloton.
Well, this is a city planning, and then you end up with these kind of roads. And that is, of course, really difficult for our 4 leaders. They are within sight of the peloton at all times. Look at that. It's a 6-lane highway almost where we're going to do our sprint. The peloton, 126 riders strong. Almost everybody is still in this group as we try to get into position. The most important point, Michael, that left-hand turn at 1 kilometre to go.
Left-hand turn, they've got 2 kilometres to that. They'll already be thinking about positioning into there. That's the first staging post to winning the sprint. You have to get that right. If you don't get yourself in position around that corner, you're not going to be at the match for the sprint. And there's something really fascinating, Josie, about just seeing the shape of the peloton when it's got all the space in the world to play with. It's not constrained by the width of the road. Just that sort of that arrowhead and the kind of the murmuration as the group sort of just ebbs and flows. It's really fascinating, but there's almost like predatory about watching that big group bearing down on these riders.
We can almost insert the Jaws tune here. Can't wait to...
It's like that.
It is most definitely like that. Baku-Khankendi, the man from Mongolia, the national champion, is really trying everything to stay away. If there were a few corners, he might have stayed out of sight, but this is making it really, really difficult. I find it really great to have a finish on a 4-lane wide road. Look at the shapes of the peloton. They are swerving left, right and center. It seems like we have a mechanical there on the left-hand side. Luckily, no crash as Leaning Star moves to the front yet again in those jerseys in the colors of the Chinese flag. The last remaining breakaway riders almost caught. Remember, we have the winner of the opening stage in the green jersey and Fedorov in the blue jersey. The other jerseys are, well, probably not featuring in the sprint, the King of the Mountains and the best young rider. This is now the moment that our breakaway is caught, with Brian Sanchez getting straight into position, possibly to help one of his teammates in the sprint. Oh, everybody's swerving left, right and center to find a place there. For now, Leaning Star have got everything under control.
Leaning Star finally on the front of the race, and you can see their poise with the man in the green jersey sitting in 3rd position, who won the first stage. I'm kind of wondering if they got there a little bit soon. Would they have been better letting somebody else do this job at this point?
Yeah, 1.5 kilometre and just 2 riders in front of the sprinter is still quite a long way out indeed. Of course, XTS Astana sitting there in 2nd position. We see those yellowish jerseys of Tartoletto Iserex as well, with Timothy Dupont. It's a fascinating thing to see on such a wide road with teams preparing for the sprint, Michael. It's not something that we see every day, to have a sprint on such a wide road.
And it makes it so hard to control, because Leaning Star are trying to control it, but...
There we go, final corner, and Leaning Star going into that corner in 1st place. Now Schnirko tries to get onto the wheel of Fedorov with his lead-out rider of Leaning Star doing that final lead-out. Fedorov gets to the front. We see all the colours of XTS Astana, but also Bardiani, of course, with the likes of, I think, Marco Manenti for the sprint today. We have Gleb Syriza, the tall rider of XTS Astana, doing everything with Fedorov in 1st position. Green jersey is Schnirko. I'm looking out to see if I can see Dupont. Dupont is on the wheel of Schnirko at the moment, with Syriza there as well. That is the final kick. It's always really, really hard to see from this really, really long lens perspective, with riders going really fast. The last lead out here by Aaron Gate, with Dupont on the wheel of Gleb Syriza. Gleb Syriza is the man who starts the sprint right now. Dupont is still hidden behind him. Can he find a way to get out? Dupont gets to the front right now for Tartoletto Iserex, but Gleb Syriza gets it in the end.
Oh, that felt like such a long sprint because of the camera angle. Just that sort of single fixed angle. It went on forever. I thought you were going to run out of breath, Jose, but Gleb Syriza led out very well by the team. I wasn't...
Aaron Gates, yeah.
At 200 metres to go, I wasn't completely confident they weren't just going to get swamped, but they did manage to hang on to it. Dupont was coming very close there.
Yeah, it was awfully close there for Dupont, although if we get an overhead shot, it might be a little bit bigger than we saw from the frontal shot. But Gleb Syriza's got it, 2nd on the opening stage, and what a great lead out again by Aaron Gate.
Aaron Gate, of course, former track pursuiter, and track pursuiters make fabulous lead-out riders.
And world points race champion.
Yep. And a very, very solid sprinter in his own right. But yeah, it was a good lead out. They did a great job. They got a lot of help from one or two of the smaller teams on the run-in, which won't have done them any harm. But yeah, on the front at the minute, you can see DuPont with the purple shoulder just tucked in behind on the string. Where is Oshinarko in the green is kind of just, they did get there too soon with his team. So they just got swamped.
Yeah. The Ruyai there, the team with the Mongolian riders and also the national champion of Korea. Also a good job on that jersey there. And he was strong in that breakaway, Michael, the Mongolian national champion. Really drove it.
He was. That break went out very quickly, and as I say, I suspect that's almost, I think I probably nearly caught the XCS and one or two of the bigger teams a little bit by surprise, because they're probably just a bit more used to the idea that the break just tries to kind of quietly squeeze the advantage out. They probably sort of sat up a bit when that break went, and it's suddenly, before they knew where they are, at a minute and a half. But on the other hand, there was never much sign of panic. They always, I think, reckoned they had it under control, and they caught it at more or less exactly the point they would have wanted to catch it. Evgeny Fedorov stays safely on top of the GC.
Yeah, that's of course important to mention as well. No changes there. He didn't take any bonus seconds as far as I could see, nor did Balmer, of course. I wonder if Vinokurov is still around to help with translations, although I think I have heard interviews with Syriza in English in the past. Immediately he's going to check that sprint online.
It's never too soon to start reliving your glory.
It was a top-notch sprint, you know, the work of Fedorov and of course Aaron Gate as last man.
Kind of looking at that and thinking Syriza not getting a huge amount of shelter from Aaron Gate, because Aaron Gate's not the biggest rider in the bunch.
No, but Gleb Syriza is most definitely one of the biggest ones. Let's look at that sprint again, that final kilometer with your analysis.
Just this big wide road, it was very hard to control. Leaning Star tried to do that, but I think they got there a little bit soon, and I worried that they would do that. This left turn, it caught you and me a little bit out because it wasn't quite sort of in the right place on the ticker, and I didn't see the banner, but this is straight into the finishing straight. We've still got one Leaning Star rider on the front, but with a kilometre to go, that is just too soon. We then lose the race a bit behind the trees. He's still there, but you can see XCS Astana coming through up on the left-hand side. Timothy DuPont just about to jump onto that wheel right now, I think. Is that what he's about to do? I think so.
He was completely hidden behind Syriza.
Yeah, because we just couldn't see him from the front at all. And what's the margin going to be at the end? Got a little bit of distance to go actually, because Timothy DuPont's still coming through on the wheel, but he's kind of picked the right wheel, and that's a wheel he picked pretty early on. And at this point, yeah, it's an absolutely classic lead out from XCS Astana there and get his last man. And Gleb Syriza launches exactly when he wants to launch into fresh air. Timed it well, because Timothy DuPont was coming up on him. Timothy DuPont was sprinting a little quicker, but half the battle in sprinting is speed and half the battle is timing. And Gleb Syriza might not have had absolutely the peak velocity, but he timed it very well.
Syriza wins ahead of DuPont, Christian David Pita, the Colombian of Rujai, Mohamed Afsi, Manenti, Fagundes, Chetolin, Grigovski and Navas. And the man in 10th place, or 9th place I should say, Alvaro Navas, that is actually a rider of the Obidos team that did so much work at the front. So now we know who their fast rider is, Michael.
Yeah, the 9th on that stage, that's his best pro result right
well,
there
good
that
for
we've
him.
just seen. So well done to him. Congratulations for that. Hopefully we'll see more of him. Tomorrow's a sprint stage as well, isn't it, Jose, I believe?
Yeah.
So maybe
Also,
we'll see him there too.
A good result for the 21-year-old from Indonesia, Mohamed Hafiz, I should say. Already some top 10 places in the Tour of Antalya, but that is a good sprint by the young man from Indonesia. So maybe a name to also keep in mind for stage 4 tomorrow, which indeed is flat again, but we have a second category climb at 30 kilometers from the line, and then basically more or less a downhill sprint. Downhill 25 kilometers to the line. Here we have confirmation of the top 10. Gleb Syriza wins it ahead of Dupont, Christian Pita, Mohamed Hafiz, Marco Manenti, Erik Fagundes, Filippo Cetolin, Hubert Grigowski, Alvaro Naves, and Tom Wijfje is 10th, the man from the Netherlands. Tomorrow we continue with Yevgeny Fedorov in the blue leader's jersey for stage 4 here from Azerbaijan. And then we wait for the podium ceremonies. Hopefully an interview with our winner of the day, Gleb Syriza. And this is the Kura River, Michael, which is the longest river here in the South Caucasus.
Yeah, and this is we saw a few seconds ago a long shot across the town over towards the hydroelectric dam and the reservoir. It was kind of fascinating because you could see just how much higher the level of the reservoir was than the level of the town. Interesting illustration.
This is in 2 hours from now. We start with a coverage of stage 4 of the Giro d'Italia, and we are in Italia with a stage from Catanzaro to Cosenza. We've got 1 second category climb that comes at around 45 kilometers from the line. It's 14-kilometer climb, 5.9 kilometers average, and then a slightly uphill finale in the town of Cosenza. We have, of course, the man from Uruguay in the pink jersey. He's got 4 seconds on Florian Stork and Egan Bernal, and then we find some other riders of the GC quite close to the top 10 of the general classification. I think the sprinter teams will try everything to keep it together on that climb, Michael. But it could also be a day for the breakaway. Yeah, and your regular commentary team will be ready for you from midday British summer time for this rather short stage in the Giro d'Italia. Only 138 kilometers. For Giro, that is half a day normally. They still tend to like 200-kilometer plus stages. The general classification with Fedorov having those 4 seconds on Balmer, Moulebaran, Fagundes, Gate. Well, nothing really changed. Although Callum Johnston moved up to 7th place. There's quite a large group at that 19-second mark, so then it all has to do with the sum of your individual stage placings. But Johnston is moving towards the top of GC. Tomorrow, we don't know for sure, but quite possibly nothing major is going to happen. Everything will come down to Thursday's, I think, Queen stage, about 2,800 meters of climbing on Thursday. And if it's going to be as chaotic as yesterday, we're in for a treat.
Yeah. No, yesterday was a very entertaining stage. And I enjoyed the last few kilometres today very much as well. It's fascinating watching the bunch when it's not constrained by the width of the road, just
this was
the
great.
way it moves. You kind of, and it feels like, we always talk about kind of the washing machine, and it feels like that when you're in there, but you don't very often see it illustrated quite like that. But really kind of a fascinating perspective, and I enjoyed that very much.
And also really professional production from the organisers here. So good job to bring us this race, and to get to meet some new riders, which I always find really nice.
They have a major water sports centre here. There's a rowing and flat water canoeing water sports centre based in the town, which is obviously what we're looking at the minute.
Illustrated, yes.
That was one of my sports. That's what I did. I came into cycling for rowing.
Really?
I was one of those. Yeah, quite a lot of time trial typed riders, and are kind of strong riders like me. He says modestly, come in from rowing, because it's a sport that has a lot of similar demands. And the other thing about rowers is that their training is good. When I came into cycling, I just transferred a lot of rowing training across, and I was instantly training better than 90% of riders I knew. And I think there's a little bit. I think cycling has caught up a bit, but I think there's a discipline from rowing that transfers very well to cycling.
We're just going to add one more culture clip here. This is the Shaki Caravanserai, and a caravanserai is a place you find all along the Silk Road. We haven't even discussed the Silk Road just yet. We'll do that tomorrow. It's what they call a roadside inn that welcomed the merchants that traveled along the Silk Road through the Caucasus region, and today it's really preserved as a landmark. But we find these caravanserais all over this part of the world. We just got the news that Katie Archibald is going to end her career per now. Of course, one of the most successful track cyclists ever. Lovely person, fantastic bike rider, and like you said on Blue Sky, Michael, she will be missed.
She will be missed. Katie is not just one of my favourite bike riders, she's one of my favourite people.
Yeah, she's great.
There's a terrific interview with her on cyclingnews.com. She's going to be a nurse. And there's a great interview talking about how she really feels it's time to move on and do that. And it was really nice to read the idea of somebody who's retiring in the best of circumstances, but I'm going to miss her in cycling.
It was Cycling Weekly, wasn't it, if people want to read it?
There was one interview I'm thinking of was at cyclingnews.com. I think there's probably one. I work for Cycling Weekly, so I should be billing them too. But,
of course, yes.
I think
otherwise you'll be fired.
In both of them. Yes, quite. No, I did, during the pandemic, I did a podcast podcast interview with Katie, or just after the pandemic, and she was living in Jason and Laura Kenny's basement at the time. And she was talking, before we actually recorded the podcast, she was talking about what it was like living in Laura Kenny's basement, and it was so funny I had to kind of postpone the podcast for 5 minutes while I sort of gathered myself together, because I was just laughing so hard at Katie describing what it was like living in this basement. Lovely person.
And what a legacy she leaves. I think we're going to wait for the podium ceremonies, because yeah, they raced incredibly fast, faster than the fastest schedule. Here are the riders getting ready for the jerseys, with Lennart Teugels in red there. The Equipo-Ken Pharma rider is Iker Gomez. Timothy Dupont checking his phone straight away. Gives us time to add a little bit more news. Our second favorite cookie team, because our favorite cookie team is, of course, Tartaletto Isorex, who have secured their sponsorship for another 2 years. But the other one, Saint-Michel Préférence Aubert 93, which are also cakes that you can buy in the supermarket in France, they are going to end their men's team, Michael, and going to focus all of their funds towards a promotion to the Pro Series, second division of women's cycling. So the men's team will fold, And the women's team, with the likes of Alison Jackson, for example, will be promoted to Pro Series. So, yeah, sad for the riders involved on the men's team of Saint-Michel. A team that, of course, we know as a regular in all the French National Cup races, which we will continue next weekend. More French National Cup racing coming up, but next year without Saint-Michel. No more free cakes, at least not in the men's team.
I've got to say, I hesitate to say, well, that's sad news, because obviously it means they're promoting the women's team, but I'll miss them. I will miss them on the men's side.
Yeah. But it kind of indicates the struggle that third division teams have. Even for a second division team, the likes of Tudor, for example, or Q36.5 is becoming rather hard to win bike races in this current era of super teams and super riders, and, well, let alone the third division. But we'll have some highlights of the stage. Stage 3 start in Gabala, finish in Minchakavir, 162.9 kilometers. We had a breakaway of 6 riders. Originally, that was caught at 70 kilometers from the line. And then these 4 riders with the Mongolian national champion, Bat Sagan, taking that intermediate sprint here in Saki. Also, Nicolas Sessler, the man from Brazil. Kalmuratov, the 43-year-old from Uzbekistan, and Brian Sanchez of the Medellin team. At the front, we find Obidos, the Portuguese team, helping out XDS Astana. The gap of our 4 leaders, a minute and a half max. And yeah, at about 8 kilometers to go, the gap dropped under the minute mark, and they were eventually caught on these really wide roads leading into the Finnish town of today. 126 riders left in the race. The 2012 race winner, the inaugural edition here in Azerbaijan, Youssef Rigigi, abandoned yesterday. We've got 126 riders left, and what looks to be another sprint stage with Gleb Syriza as big favorite. 20k out from the finish line. He actually had a flat tire, managed to come back to the front. That might have been one of the reasons that XCS Astana was not all too involved at a certain point in the chasing and left it to the Obidos team to ensure that Syriza managed to come back, because of course he was one of the big favorites. Our 4 leaders, with the man from Mongolia, absolutely the strongest of the 4, really didn't go down without a fight, that's for sure. But in the end, in a sprinter stage in these 6-lane highways, it would be almost impossible to stay away. And impossible it was, because the peloton caught them with the red jerseys there of Leaning Star at the front, with in that green jersey the winner of the opening stage, Alexei Shnarko. But a rather phenomenal lead out here by Aaron Gate. There we go, Aaron Gate did his lead out, and there Gleb Syriza starts the sprint. Hidden behind the really broad physique of Syriza is Dupont. He has to choose the right moment to try and get past the Russian rider. That's what he does now, but he falls short, and it's a second place for Dupont and a win for Gleb Syriza. Look at the power of that man, Michael. He is quite the big guy.
Hint of Jonathan Milan about him, isn't there?
Yeah, well, he should bob his head a little bit more.
Yeah.
There was not enough head bobbing going on there.
But getting a lot of force. 1800, 1900 watts maybe at peak, and he got a good lead out and timed it quite well. As I say, Timothy Dupont was coming through quickly, but coming off the wheel just was sort of always a bike length behind.
Third on the opening stage, second today. One last chance for Timothy Dupont to get that win, and that is going to be tomorrow.
Try to work out, I think, when Timothy Dupont's last win was. Might have been a while ago, but kind of glancing.
I think it was actually last week, somewhere in Algeria.
Oh, was it? Okay. I'm looking different list.
Yeah, we are going to do the interview in English. We don't need any Vinokurov.
Congratulations to the stage win in Mingacheria. You had a little puncture 20 kilometers before the finish. That seemed to be not the best luck, but at the end it was fine for you. How did that work today?
No, this was just a big problem to us. We are changing so fast. Everybody beat me, so it was no panic, no nothing special, nothing.
So good teamwork. What does it count for you, this stage win?
Oh, it's a special feeling because it's my first win in this season. It's so nice. It also my teammate do the perfect lead out. This was nice.
Yesterday's stage winner, Yevgeny, he was the helper today for you. How much does that count?
Yeah, it's nice. We just like one. We are like one team, one goal, one team, one goal.
How does it go on now? What are your ambitions for the next days?
Oh, my ambition for the next day is just finish the race. Just enjoy the ride. No, but if it seriously goes for the next 2 days, just save the leader jersey and also try to one to stage. If it's possible, we have a really strong team also for the sprint stage and also for the climb stage. So now I just try to help how much is possible for my teammate.
Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy your win and have a good time with your team.
Yeah, really good. It's not easy to do an interview which is not your first language, but he did his best and praised his teammates, and he hopes to enjoy. It's a good perspective here. Look at how riders kind of approach that wall of photographers and Swannies there.
It's always an interesting angle just to see, you know, over the backs of the riders from that direction, and the way that you see, you know, if you're in 30th or 40th position back in the bunch, you suddenly see who won because they pop up and put their arms in the air.
Points classification, Gleb Syriza takes over with, of course, that second place on the opening day and the full 30 points today, 2 points second. So Syriza will be in that green jersey tomorrow, quite recognizable. Fedorov in the blue jersey as the leader in GC. Lennart Teugels in the red jersey as the leader in the mountain classification. And Iker Gomez, the Spanish rider of Equipo Kern Pharma, is the best young rider. And that concludes today's stage 3 here in the Baku-Khankendi Azerbaijan race. Tomorrow we continue stage 4, same time, same commentators with Michael Hutchinson and myself, Jose Bin.
Jersey. Actually, this was a flat stage. We had one qualification.
Enjoy the Giro later today. That will be in just under 2 hours from now. And Michael and I, as said, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a lovely, lovely Tuesday.
Actually, this was a flat stage. We had one qualification. Did you focus on that today?
Yeah, today the focus was on recuperation after yesterday, a hard day. I did a good job yesterday for the points. Today, yeah, was easy, and then now we focus on the next 2 days where the decision will be made.
And you're trying to keep that jersey?
Yeah, it's a bit of a side goal. I'm also with the GC in my head, so yeah, we will see what's possible. But for now, I'm betting on 2 horses.
The top stage is yet to come. The 5th stage, then the King's stage. What are your focus? Is your focus on that stage, maybe?
Yeah, tomorrow is only 1 or 2 time points. Also, yeah, 1 in the beginning and 1 in the end. So yeah, we'll see if I can grab a point. I will not hesitate, but the focus is on the last day. Yeah.
Any other ambitions for your team? Maybe are you still attacking maybe the overall classement?
Yeah, me and Johnny are still close. I think we are both capable of doing top 10, so that's the goals of the team. So far, we had a top 10 result every day, so I would say we continue like this.
Great. Congratulations then. Have a good time here for the rest of the days. Thank you.
Welcome to the stage of the Baku-Khankendi, Azerbaijan cycling race.
Hanımlar ve canablar, aziz dostlar, Baku-Khankendi Azerbaycan velosiped yarışının 3. mərhələsinin qaliblərinin mükafatlandırma mərasimində hər birinizi xoş gördük.
Today's 3rd stage in Mingaçevir gave the following result. Rank 3 goes to Christian David Pitt.
3. mərhələdə 3. yerin sahibi Christian David Pitt'a podyuma dəvət olunur. Alqışlayaq zəhmət olmasa. 3. yerin sahibi
Second place goes to Timothy Dupont.
2. yerin sahibi Timothy Dupont.
And the winner of the 3rd stage from Russia, Gleb Syriza.
Ve 3. mərhələnin qalibi Gleb Syriza.
The award ceremony will be honored by Mr. İlham İlmailov, Head of Executive Power of Mingaçevir City, and Mr. Sahib Alakbarov, First Vice President of the Azerbaijan Cycling Federation.
Qaliblere mükafatları təqdim edir. Cənab İlham İsmailov, Mingaçevir şəhər icra hakimiyyətinin başçısı və cənab Sahib Ələkbərov, Baku-Khankendi Azərbaycan velosiped yarışının təşkilat komitəsinin rəhbəri, Azərbaycan Velosiped İdmanı Federasiyasının 1-ci vitse-prezidenti.
These are Christian David Peter from Team Ruja Insurance Windspace, Timothy Dupont from Tarteleto Isorex, and the winner Gleb Syriza from XDS Astana Team.
Podyumda yer alan velosipedçilerimizi bir daha hatırladı. 3. yerin sahibi Christian David Pita, 2. yer Timothy Dupont ve galip 3. mərhələnin qalibi Gleb Syriza.
Thank you, Mr. İlham İsmailov and Mr. Sahib Alakbarov.
Aziz dostlar, bir daha galiplerimizi alkışlayak. Podyumda yer alan velosipedçilerimiz 3. mərhələ 162,9 kilometre mesafe Qəbələdə başlayan və Mingəçevirdə başa çatan 3. mərhələdə fərqlənən velosipedçilərimizi yola salırıq. Podyumda təbrik edirik bir daha.
Coming to the overall classement, the general qualification, the blue jersey. And this goes to Yevgeny Fedorov.
Ve bizim yarışımızın lideri, mavi köynəyin sahibi Yevgeny Fedorov. Bəli, Qazaxstan Astana komandasının üzü Yevgeny Fedorov liderin mavi köynəyinin sahibidir. Bir alkışlarım Yevgeny Fedorov, Astana komandası.
The honor is given by the first vice president of the Azerbaijan Cycling Federation, Mr. Sahip Alakbarov.
Liderin mavi köynəyini təqdim edir. Cənab Sahib Ələkbərov, Azərbaycan Velosiped İdmanı Federasiyasının birinci vitse-prezidenti və Baku-Khankendi Azərbaycan Vela yürüyüşünün təşkilat komitəsi rəhbəri. Bir de alkışlar, liderin mavi köynəyi Yevgeny Fedorov, Kazakhstan Astana komandası.
The green jersey for the best sprinter. The sprinter points jersey goes to Gleb Suristar.
Ve en yaxşı sprinterə təqdim olunan yaşıl köynəyin sahibi Gleb Suristar podyuma dəvət olunur.
The honor is given by Mr. Sahip Alakbarov, first vice president of Azerbaijan Cycling Federation.
En yaxşı sprinterə təqdim olunan yaşıl köynəyi mükafatlandırma mərasimində Cənab Sahib Ələkbərov en yaxşı sprinterə Gleb Suristar'a təqdim edir. Astana komandasının daha bir velosipedçisi Kazakhstan Gleb Suristar en yaxşı sprinterə verilen yaşıl köynəyin sahibi.
Coming to the mountain classification, the red jersey for the best climber goes to Leonard Toiges.
En yaxşı dağ velosipedçisi dağ etapının galibine verilen kırmızı köynəyin sahibi Leonard Toiges.
The honoration is made by Mr. İlham İsmailov, head of executive power of Mingəçevir City.
Ve kırmızı köynəyi təqdim edir Cənab İlham İsmailov, Mingəçevir şəhər icra hakimiyyətinin başçısı. Alkışlarınızla Leonard Toiges.
Winner of the red mountain jersey, Leonard Toiges. Coming to the youngest attacking driver, the white jersey goes to Iker Gomez.
Ve bu mərhələnin en yaxşı genç velosipedçisine təqdim olunan ağ köynək. Onun sahibi Iker Gomez.
by the Executive Vice President of the Azerbaijan Cycling Federation, Mr. Fikrat Huseynov.
En yaxşı genç velosipedçiyə təqdim olunur ağ köynək. Cənab Fikret Hüseynov tərəfindən Azərbaycan Velosiped İdman Federasiyasının icraçı vitse-prezidenti. Alkışlarımızla en genç, en yaxşı genç velosipedçi Iker Gomez.
The best attacking young rider, Iker Gomez, with the white jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was the award ceremony of the third stage in Mingacheviya.
Hanımlar ve canavlar, Baku-Khankendi, Azerbaycan velosiped yarışının 3. mərhələsinin mükafatlandırma mərasimində iştirak ettiğiniz için her birinize teşekkür edirik ve bizim velosiped yarışımızda karşıda hələ 2 mərhələ var. Maraqlı, heyecanlı, dramatik ve gergin mübarizemiz devam edecek.